friends. Okay, so it's morning, obviously, hence the reason my voice is still kind of groggy. That lovely morning voice. I just made myself a little protein shake, and I decided to bring you guys along for another day because I guess you enjoyed the last video, the last little day in the life, my last Monday, but today is not Monday. Today is Tuesday. And so I don't know how different this is going to be from the last video because, like I said, my days can be just randomly very different from one another. But let's go ahead and get into my day. Oh goodness, that was awkward. Oof. The big question is, do I make my bed every day or did I make it just for you guys? Comment below and let me know what you think. Do I make my bed every day or not? Dun dun dun. On Instagram, I asked you guys what kind of videos you would be interested in seeing from me in the future. You know, I haven't even looked in the mirror yet this morning. I have no idea what this looks like. And a couple of you requested asking to see my quiet time routine. Now, I've actually gotten this question a lot, and I think it's a great question, but I've always sort of hesitated to make a quiet time routine video because, yes, I have watched them before, and yes, they can be interesting, but I've personally always felt a little bit awkward about that idea. The reason being, to me, your quiet time and your time spent along with the Father is exactly that. It's between you and the Father. For me personally, my time with God is not really something I would record and put on YouTube. I sort of think about it as if you are dating someone and you bring the video camera on your date and you record the whole conversation and then you just put it out there for everyone to see and be part of that intimate conversation. And while I think it can be really helpful when people talk about their quiet time routine and the books that they read, the Bible studies they're doing, the music they listen to, etc., at the same time, I don't really like that because I don't like formulas. And I truly believe that your relationship with God should be that. It should be a relationship. It shouldn't be trying to follow a to-do list or a checklist of saying, hey, this is what I have to do today, this is what I have to get done in order to move on with the rest of my day. Yeah, for me, my quiet time with the Lord really varies. Sometimes it can be short, sometimes it can take up my entire morning. With that being said, I will go ahead and tell you what I've been doing over the past couple months since January started. I guess it's still February, but yeah, so the past 2 months. I mentioned this in another video, but I've been reading through the Gospels. I read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, now I'm reading through Acts. So I guess my first piece of advice, if you're watching this video in hopes of getting some little things you can apply to your own quiet time, would be to find a Bible reading plan. And I know it sounds totally opposite of what I just said. I just said, hey, your quiet time should be a free flow and it shouldn't be about rules and schedules and everything. And with that being said, having a Bible reading plan is not for the purpose of being religious. It's not for the purpose of forcing yourself to do something or finishing up this amount of books by a certain time. It's not about reaching goals or getting things done, but it really just helps, for me anyway, it helps me stay accountable. It helps me have a track to run on, so to speak. It helps me every once in a while. I just like to get back to, like I said, at the beginning of January, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts. And I think at this point I'm going to keep going. I think I'm just going to keep going through Romans all the way through probably to Revelation, just to really reread the New Testament and just to get that in me all over again. Usually I'm bouncing around to different books of the Bible depending on just where the Lord leads and different studies that I'm doing and stuff like that. But for right now, I've just been, going through the New Testament. So if you're like, hey, I don't even know where to start with my quiet time, start in Matthew. For me, a big part of my quiet time isn't just reading the Word, but it's also praying and talking to the Lord and also singing to Him and spending time with Him and just being in His presence, worshiping Him. I do have a journal. I do a lot of journaling, but I'm not really rigid about it. It's not like I have a topic that I have to journal about every day or that I force myself to journal my prayers. I mean, sometimes I make huge long journal entries and other times I go like a week without journaling. So as you can see, I'm not very strict about having a certain plan and just forcing myself to stick with it. I really like to let the Lord lead and do whatever He feels like doing that day. Oh, something I will mention that I have been doing over the past couple weeks, which is kind of different for me, is one of my friends sent me a Bible study that Bethel Church has been doing online called Leap Into Love by Havilah Cunningham. I think Cunningham is her last name. You can look her up. She's really cool. But I've been doing her Bible study, and it's been different for me because I feel like there's just something so strange about taking out your phone and watching a Bible study. It makes me feel like such a millennial, like, oh yeah, doing Bible study on my phone, like that's just a little bit, I don't know, I know it's normal, people do it all the time, but for me it's like I just love being in the Word. And even though I am doing this other Bible study and watching her daily videos as well, that's not like my meat and my daily bread, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just kind of a dessert, like after I spend time with the Lord doing whatever it is that we're doing, reading what we're reading, then I like to watch one of Havilah's videos just to kind of like, you know, add to a little dessert to the platter. So you can totally feel free to do that as well. There are so many awesome Bible studies and speakers and just things that you can watch right on your phone at the end of your quiet time or at the beginning of your quiet time, however you want to structure it, and just to like give you more to think about throughout the day, give you more to challenge your heart with, and to continue a theme. For me, I really like being in a theme, and I like sort of having something that I can bring my mind back to throughout the day so that I can keep my thoughts focused on Him. And so having this Bible study that I'm doing with Bethel right now has just been really helpful to keep myself coming back to love and coming back to His love and coming back to focusing on that reality. Lastly, I also have access to a really cool Bible study called Back to Jerusalem. Back to Jerusalem is a ministry founded by Brother Yan, who is a guy that was severely persecuted in China. He's the author of the book Heavenly Man. I don't know if you've ever read it or not, but I encourage you to Google him, check him out. The ministry that they have is really, really cool. I mean, obviously anything that comes out of persecution, anything that comes out of the underground church in China is going to be really powerful. But I've just started their Bible study, Back to Jerusalem, which you can find on their website, backtojerusalem.com. And it's been so good. It's been really exciting because they're basically taking you through the entire story of Acts. And they're taking you through the gospel and how it spread literally across the entire world and God's plan to continue to spread the gospel around the whole globe. And it's been really fun. So I'm not necessarily like listening to that every day, but just when I have free time and when I feel like I want to dive in more, I've been watching that Bible study. There's videos as well as like a little booklet you can read along with it. And that's been really, really good. So that's been fun as well.